As you run to me, you cover me. I'll forever run toward the one who calls me home. Everything I'm longing for is in you, you alone.
No matter where I run, grace will follow. The Father's love is all I know. I never need to doubt that you want me. You are standing here saying, welcome home. Welcome home. No matter where I run, grace will follow. The Father's love is all I know. I never need to doubt that you want me. You are standing here saying, welcome home. Welcome home.
I'll forever run toward the one who calls me home. Everything I'm longing for is in you, you alone.
No matter where I run, grace will follow. The Father's love is all I know. I never need to doubt that you want me. You are standing here saying, welcome home. Welcome home. Welcome home. You are standing here saying, welcome home. Through all the turns life's taken, I've never been forsaken. I know it's you that's leading the way. You are my shield and my strength. When what's ahead makes no sense, I know it's you that's leading the way. It's an adventure. This is a crazy ride. You're breaking the fences, bringing my heart to life. life with you, life with you. It's a wild, wild life with you. There's no hesitation, no doubt in my mind. You save me from safe, I am braving your life. It's a wild, wild life with you. It's wild. It's wild. It's wild.
You're the first, you're the alpha, maker of the earth. By your word, you created life out of the dirt. Because you hold the world inside of your hands, you can move mountains at your command. You hold the world inside of your hands, you can move mountains at your command. God of glory, you are wonderful, wonderful. Christ the mighty King of all the universe. You are holy, you are powerful, powerful. Lift down praises to the God of all, God of all, God of all the earth. God of all the earth. Lift down praises to the God of all, God of all, God of all the earth. All the sea, all the land shows your glory, tells of who you are. It's the love of the Maker, shaping who we are. Because you hold the world inside of your hands, you can move mountains at your command. You hold the world inside of your hands, you can move mountains at your command. God of glory, you are wonderful, wonderful. Christ the mighty King of all the universe. You are holy, you are powerful, powerful. Lift down praises to the God of all, God of all, God of all the earth. God of all the earth. Lift down praises to the God of all, God of all, God of all the earth. God, you hold the world up, so we lift your praise up. God, you hold the world up, so we lift your praise up. God, you hold the world up, so we lift your praise up. God, you hold the world up, so we lift your praise up. God of glory, you are wonderful, wonderful. Christ the mighty King of all the universe. You are holy, you are powerful, powerful. Lift down praises to the God of all, God of all, God of all the earth. God of all the earth. God of all the earth. Lift down praises to the God of all, God of all, God of all the earth. Lift down praises to the God of all, God of all, God of all the earth.
I'm so grateful for your patience, all the ways you carry me. You have always left a light on, so I can see. You wait for me.
I'm invited to the table. You are saving me a seat. In your house I know I'm worthy, 'cause you died for me. You set me free.
No matter where I run, grace will follow. The Father's love is all I know. I never need to doubt that you want me. You are standing here, Calvary. I forever run toward the one who calls me home. Everything I'm longing for is in you alone. No matter where I run, grace will follow. The Father's love is all I know. I never need to doubt that you want me. You are standing here saying, welcome home. Welcome home. No matter where I run, grace will follow. The Father's love is all I know. I never need to doubt that you want me. You are standing here saying, welcome home. Welcome home. I forever run toward the one who calls me home. Everything I'm longing for is in you alone. No matter where I run, grace will follow. The Father's love is all I know. I never need to doubt that you want me. You are standing here saying, welcome home. Welcome home. Welcome home. You are standing here saying, welcome home.
Hey everyone, welcome to Church at Home.
Hey guys, special mention, especially if you're tuning in for the first time. We're so glad that you're here and we love making new friends.
We do.
Yeah, make sure you shout out to us in the comments. Let us know where you're tuning in from, what you're doing this week, what your favourite food is, what your pet's name is. Whatever it is, we'd love to chat about it. So
Yes, and speaking of friends, there are so many different ways you can connect in and meet people here at Gateway. We have things like life groups that meet in people's homes throughout the week. We have an active ministry that is such a great place to get connected and get
nice.
moving. We have playgroups running for young families. So can I encourage you to reach out and connect beyond the screen?
Yeah.
Even if you're not Melbourne based, we'd love to connect you into our community. So head to the link in the description to fill out the Connect With Us form.
yes, you can make it a challenge with your friends. Who's connected with the most things? I've
The
connected
most
with-
things, the most ministries.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Anyway, another great way to get involved coming up at the end of July, and this should be at the top of that little list, is Alpha at Home. It's such an amazing course. You can ask literally all the questions that you have about faith, and you can also have some really great discussions
Yeah.
with people in the same stage as you as well. So let's check it out.
Let's start thinking about people we can invite to do this with us. Who in your world will benefit from some great convos about faith?
Yeah, there's a cool video, and this course is online as well, so it's incredibly convenient. You don't even have to leave the house.
From the couch.
Yeah, you can have all the
Best.
snacks in the world while you're chatting to your friends about whatever you want about faith. So if you're interested, head to the link to sign up. We'll just find out more about it.
Guys, can we encourage you, especially if you call Gateway home,
Yeah.
let's keep doing our part and keep giving so
Yeah.
that we can continue to be light in this community. We can continue to do the work of the church.
Yeah.
And if you'd like to give this morning, maybe it's even been a few weeks since you've gotten around to it. What a great morning to be generous.
Yeah.
So head to the description. There are details there for you to set that up.
Yeah, but hey, we know there are many people doing it tough in this season for various reasons. And we know not only here in Melbs
Yep.
are we unable to meet still, but half of our country is in a lockdown state. It's such a tough time collectively, let alone what we can carry individually at different times as well. So we want to know what we can be praying for.
Yeah.
How can we support you in prayer this week?
Yeah.
So to let us know, head to the link and fill out that prayer form so that we can pray alongside you.
This week, what a treat. We're taking a little break from our current series, and our good friend Mark Pomeroy from Elevate Church in Perth is speaking on the lies that culture tells us about money. It sounds so good.
That does sound good. I'm excited. But first, come on, let's worship.
Come on.
Breathe in, breathe out. Stop the endless chase. Surrender all in thy resting grace. No need to worry when I can choose to praise. I find my peace when I call out your name. Even to wildest oceans you have spoken. Here with you in this moment, you're my focus. Jesus, you're the air I breathe. You're the only thing I need. You have given life to me. Jesus, you're the air I breathe. I will breathe with you are my oxygen. I will breathe with you are my oxygen. I will breathe with you are my oxygen, my everything. You are my oxygen. You are my oxygen. And every day as I inhale your love, I live by faith, 'cause you are enough in all the noise. Jesus, you make me still. I give my heart to your perfect will. Even to wildest oceans you have spoken. Here with you in this moment, you're my focus. Jesus, you're the air I breathe. You're the only thing I need. You have given life to me. Jesus, you're the air I breathe. I will breathe with you are my oxygen. I will breathe with you are my oxygen. I will breathe with you are my oxygen, my everything. You are my oxygen. You are my oxygen. Even to wildest oceans you have spoken. Here with you in this moment, you're my focus. Jesus, you're the air I breathe. You're the only thing I need. You have given life to me. Jesus, you're the air I breathe. I will breathe with you are my oxygen. I will breathe with you are my oxygen. I will breathe with you are my oxygen, my everything. You are my oxygen. Oh, you are my oxygen. My everything. You are my oxygen.
Oh, it's so good to see you guys. We haven't finished yet.
You're the first, you're the Alpha, maker of the earth. By your word, you created life out of the dirt. Because you hold the world inside of your hands, you can move mountains at your command. You hold the world inside of your hands, you can move mountains at your command. God of glory, you are wonderful, wonderful. Christ the mighty King of all the universe. You are holy, you are powerful, powerful. shaping who we are. Because you hold the world inside of your head. You can move mountains at your command. You hold the world inside of your head. You can move mountains at your command. God of glory, you are wonderful, wonderful. Christ the mighty King of only you, only you, only you live. You are holy, you are powerful, powerful. Lift up praises to the God of all, God of all, God of all the earth. God of all the earth. Lift up praises to the God of all, God of all, God of all the earth. God, you hold the world up, so we lift our praise up. God, you hold the world up, so we lift your praise up. God, you hold the world up, so we lift your praise up. God, you hold the world up, so we lift your praise up. God of glory, you are wonderful, wonderful. Christ the mighty King of only you, only you, only you live. You are holy, you are powerful. Lift our praises to the God of all, God of all, God of all the earth. God of all the earth. Lift our praises to the God of all, God of all, God of all the earth.
Well, hey there, Gateway Church. Great to be with you again. I had some incredibly encouraging feedback from my last message, the Demi Lovato inspired question, what's wrong with being confident? So really glad that that message landed for so many of you. Today, I want to actually talk about money and stuff. Now, we do a series every year here at Elevate Church on money and stuff. And there's a few reasons for that, including money and stuff often makes its way into the top 3 competitors for our attention versus making God number 1. And another reason is that the inability to manage money and stuff is one of the key things that causes some people and some relationships and some businesses to come unstuck. So we hit the topic of money and stuff every year. And it's really a very important and personal subject for me and a motivation for teaching every year on money and stuff. Because I grew up in a family where I received little or no advice around how to manage money and stuff. Because in my family, from a cultural standpoint, money was a taboo subject. We weren't allowed to talk about it, let alone actually learn about it. And that might be true for some of you. Or worse still, some of you may have actually grown up in a household or an environment where you received bad advice or bad modeling about money and stuff. And so if you're like me and you didn't receive any advice about how to manage money and stuff, or worse still, you received bad advice about how to manage money and stuff, you've got a choice. You can either sit around and blame everything upstream, or you can educate yourself. And I would encourage you to do what I did, and that's the second of those 2 options, and is to educate yourself. Now, in one message, on one day, I'm not going to be able to cover everything off. But what I want to point you to is actually some of the series that we've done in recent years around the topic of managing money and stuff. So you can hit up our Elevate Church Perth podcast that's available on all of the major podcast platforms where all the cool podcasts are. And what you're going to be looking for, our last series, which we did just a couple of months ago, is called Keep the Change. So you'll see that. Previous year, you'll see a series called If Money Talked. And I know some of you are thinking, yeah, my money talks. It says goodbye. Well, the point of that series is to hopefully stop that being what your money says. And then the year before that, we taught a series called Like a Boss, how to manage your money and stuff like a boss. And if you're super keen, and by the way, these are all free, so I'm not selling anything here. I'm just trying to help you, to help yourself. We taught a series in 2018 called Economy. And then the year before that, a series called Making Change. What I want to do today is take a flyover of some of the, well, I'm going to call them lies that our culture tells us about managing money and stuff. And I'm not at war with our culture. I'm not anti-culture. I'm a big fan of a lot of aspects of culture. But I'm always on the lookout for anything in our culture that is against what God says or differs from what God says. And here's a pro tip, by the way. If what you hear from culture isn't what you hear from God, choose what God says. It's better. But some of the lies around money and stuff, they're actually subtle. And that's the reason it's important to kind of peel back the curtain and expose them. Because the longer you're in a culture, the less you tend to recognize that culture you're in. That's why a fish doesn't feel wet, because that's all a fish knows. So, that's all I want to hit up today. 3 lies our culture tells us about money and stuff. Here's the first one. You'll be happy if you buy blank. You'll be happy if you buy a newer car. You'll be happy if you buy a bigger house. You'll be happy if you buy those shoes. And the issue isn't about buying stuff. You know, God's not against us having a newer car or a better home or another pair of shoes. What God pushes back against is us wrapping that up with our contentment, us handing over our contentment to the marketers and the sellers, giving them control over what makes us happy. And if we do that, what you'll soon realize is there's no finish line. That the culture we live in does not advocate the concept of enough. In fact, the opposite is true. They advocate the concept that there's no such thing as enough. No finish line, no such thing as enough. And if you buy into that lie, you find yourself on the treadmill of consumption, endless consumption, searching for the finish line. But there's no finish line because it's a treadmill. And you're on it, and you're on it, and you're desperately seeking happiness and contentment, and you're never going to find it in money and stuff. So what we have to do in the culture we live in, we actually have to define our enough. And I can't define it for you. Only you can define enough based on your values, based on your circumstances. You are the only one that can define enough, but you have to do it. We have to define our enough, because if we don't define our enough, we'll buy into the lie that buying that thing will make you happy. Jesus took a pretty deep dive into this with a story that he told. And it was a metaphorical story, but very, very key lessons to be learned from that. And this is what he said to a group of people that were gathered around him when he was teaching. Speaking to them, he went on. He said, "Take care, exclamation mark. Protect yourselves against the least bit of greed. Life is not defined by what you have, even when you have a lot." And then he told them this story. "The farm of a certain rich man produced a terrific crop. And he thought to himself, what can I do? My barn isn't big enough for the harvest." Then he said, "I know what I'll do. I'll tear down my barns and build bigger ones. Then I'll gather all my grain and goods, and I'll say to myself, 'Self, well done. You've got it made, and you can now retire. Take it easy and have the time of your life.'" Well, just then God showed up and said, fool, tonight you die, and your barn full of goods, who gets it? And that's what happens when you fill your barn with self and not with God. Now, I want you to notice a couple of things. It's very important to listen right now at what I'm about to say so you don't get this messed up. Jesus didn't call the guy out for being rich. Jesus didn't call the guy out for being productive and having stuff. He called him out for two reasons. Number one, that he had never taken the time to define his enough. And secondly, because of that, he thought everything that came to him was for him. The beauty of defining your enough is that when you have more than enough, when you have access to more than enough, you can shift the conversation away from where can I spend it to now the generosity conversation, where can I send it? It's a very different and very bigger and a far more eternal mindset. The reality is this concept of consumption and being encouraged to consume endlessly, it's not a new thing. I mean, marketing's been around for decades. But it's being fueled, not just by marketing, it's being fueled by comparison, which also isn't new. However, the difference, see, we have an expression around comparison called keeping up with the Joneses. The difference today is we carry the Joneses around on our phones. It's called Instagram, people. And we are constantly being exposed to what the Joneses are doing. And look, there's occasionally a fail post or a fail video, but most of what the Joneses are posting is their highlight reel. And we see that and we think, man, I need that. I have to have that. And it fuels a sense of discontent in us that the marketers play to and tell us, well, yeah, if you get that, you'll be happy, which again, there's nothing necessarily wrong with getting that. The warning is don't place your source of contentment in stuff. Here's another lie our culture tells us about money and stuff. You don't need anyone else. See, we celebrate individualism. We celebrate the self-made person. We celebrate the business person that went from nothing to madly successful, the entrepreneur. And I celebrate them too. But here's the thing. If you don't know what you're doing when it comes to managing money and stuff, you've never had the education, you don't know how to do it, or worse still, you're failing, you're in a hole and you can't get yourself out of it, you're stuck and you don't know how to get unstuck, then you can't. It's obvious, you're proving by the way you're managing money and stuff that you absolutely do need other people. And so it's vital to humble ourselves, swallow our pride, have a good look at the reality of our current situation, and then develop high quality relationships with people who they are actually doing well at managing money and stuff. Now, that might be people who just model that for you, and you get around them and you say, hey, listen, can you tell me what it is you do? Can you sort of walk me through some of the big rocks and the big principles that you use for managing money and stuff, and be encouraged by them, be informed by them, be inspired by them, absolutely seek them out. But if you're really in a deep hole, you're really, really stuck, you might need some professional financial assistance, some professional financial coaching. And those people are available as well. A couple in our sphere, about 18 months ago, they both work full-time in reasonably well-paying jobs, sort of middle income type jobs. And they just couldn't make budget. The money would run out before the next pay period consistently. And of course, as you'd imagine, it's incredibly frustrating. And so, we said to them, it looks to us like you need some professional assistance. You need somebody to sit down with you and comb through your finances and help establish and help you navigate a better strategy. So we introduced them to a financial advisor, someone that we've known and worked with for about 15 years. And that person came in, and remember, you have to swallow your pride, humble yourself in these situations. And that person comes in, and they come in because they know that you're failing. I mean, that's, sounds like a strong word, but in their case, they were failing. They weren't able to make this work. And the financial advisor opens with this statement: show me everything. Get out the bank statements, get out the shoe boxes, show me everything. And they do it not to shame them, they do it to help them. They do it to get a full picture of their current reality, their patterns, the things they're doing well, the things they're not doing well, their areas for improvement. And our friend, the financial advisor, was able to put a strategy together with them that's seen them make forward progress in the area of finances. Now, in this area of finances and under this lie, you don't need anyone else, let me just give Marco's pro tip to the married people out there. If you, those of you who are married, if you find yourself and your spouse constantly butting heads when it comes to how to manage money and stuff, often that's not a lack of understanding around money. And so your need for professional assistance might not be a financial planner. Often those kind of friction points are to do with things like family of origin differences. You grew up in a household where your family were savers and your spouse grew up in a household where their family was spenders. You maybe have a different definition of what's a need and what's a want. You may have different opinions on enough, or how much is too much, or what's important and what's not. And those sorts of things, if left unchecked, they can derail a relationship very, very, very quickly. And so I would also encourage you, don't just kind of sweep that under the carpet, because just when you sweep things under the carpet, all you get is a lumpy carpet. And here's the third one, the final lie that I want to cover off today, that our culture tells us about money and stuff. And it's this, that your net worth equals your worth. That we live in a culture that sees money as a scorecard. We actually say that person's worth, and then we say this much money. And it's like, no, what? That's a very one-dimensional way of equating what someone is worth, just their net worth. And it's un-Australian to ask people how much money they've got in the bank, so we don't do that. But, let's face it, we might ask them where they live, what job they have, what size of house they live in, what car they drive, and we may draw some conclusions about them and their financial worth around those things and kind of put them into different categories of worth. Mother's Day, just a couple of months ago, I was scooting I get around on a Vespa over here. I was scooting back from having visited my mum for Mother's Day, and Louisa, my wife, she had gone and visited her mum for Mother's Day. And as I'm scooting back to our house, there was a set of traffic lights on the highway about 100 meters ahead, and pulling up to this, the light was orange and about to go red. Pulling up to this traffic light, I saw Louisa's car, which I call the Louis-mobile, and I'm thinking, man, what are the chances of that her mum's across town and my mum's over here, and we didn't even text to say I'm leaving now. What are the chances that we're about to pull up to the exact same traffic light on the highway on the way home. And I'm nearing her, and I'm about 20 meters away, and I'm just about to let that horn on my Vespa rip, meet, meet, meet. And I realized that it wasn't the Louis Mobile at all. That as I got closer, I discovered it was actually the Audi equivalent of the Louis Mobile. In fact, one of Louis's colleagues, who's a car guy, he jokingly calls Louis's car a poor man's Audi. And I say to him, I think you mean a wise man's Audi. And here's the reason I say that. Here's the Louis Mobile, and here's the Audi equivalent. Louis drives a Skoda, and this is the Audi equivalent. Now, if you're not a car person, let me catch you up. These two brands, Skoda and Audi, are now actually owned by the very same parent company, the Volkswagen company. Maybe you've heard of them. And these two vehicles are built on the exact same chassis. They use all of the exact same internal technology. And yeah, one's got a little bit of curves, the other one hasn't on the external body. The Louis Mobile cost $27,000, and the Audi cousin costs $47,000. $20,000 more, people, nearly twice as much. And the reality is our culture in general would conclude that the person driving the Audi obviously has more money, a higher net worth than the person driving the Skoda. Now, if you're a car person, I'm not here to yuck your yum. I'm simply making the point that don't buy something that's more expensive. Don't pursue things that are more expensive because you want to kind of prove to other people or to yourself that you have a higher worth. Now, our worth comes from who God says we are. Our worth comes from the fact that God sent the only thing he had one of, his son, Jesus, to die for you and for me. We can have some stuff. We just need to ensure we don't let the stuff have us. And this was Jesus' warning. This is kind of like one of Jesus' many mic drop moments. He said, you can't worship two gods at once. Loving one God, you'll end up hating the other. Adoration of one feeds contempt for the other. You can't worship God and money both. Now, he doesn't say you can't have God and money both, but he talks about the ranking of those two things, that we can't have money and God competing for number one, that God, he doesn't like to be number two. He's God, people. He likes to be number one. And he likes for us to learn from him about how we can manage money and stuff in a way that honors him and serves the things that are important to him in the way we manage what he's entrusted to us. Now, that dips our toes in the water of some lies around culture with the subject of money and stuff. And as I said, it's just dipping our toe in the water. So I encourage you, those series that I mentioned at the top of this message, if you want to take a deeper dive, you can turn your smartphone into a Mark phone and you can take me with you anywhere you go. Scary thought, I know. But listen to them and learn from them and make the necessary changes if you need to make them. Okay. Now, I'll be back with you guys next month, which I'm already excited about. I'm cooking up a great message that I've called, Who's Your Daddy and What Does He Do? Which some of you under 40 have no idea what that reference is. But anyway, you'll learn. I look forward to seeing you then. Love you guys. See you next month.
You love with no reservations, and you're not looking for perfection. So I'll give you everything. I'll give you everything. You deserve my full attention. Nothing less than my devotion. Oh, speak to me and I will listen. And I'll give you everything. I'll give you everything. You can have my heart. You can have my heart. You can have my heart. You can have my. Won't you stand with us and sing? Be the Lord. Be the Lord of my emotions. Set me free from selfish motives. Search me till there's nothing hidden, and I'll give you everything. I'll give you everything. You can have my heart. You can have my heart. You can have my heart. Yes, you can. Sing you can have my heart. Yes, Jesus. I'll take it all. Sing you can have my heart. You can have my heart. And if you want my heart, you got it. You got it. You got it. If you want my heart, you got it. You got it. You got it. If you want my heart, you got it. You got it. You got it. If you want my, come on, you tell it. You got it. You got it. You got it. If you want my heart, you got it. You got it. You got it. If you want my heart, you got it. You got it. You got it. If you want my yes, you got it. You got it. You got it. If you want my you got it. You can have my heart. Yes, you can. Take it all. Take it all. You can have my heart. Oh, Jesus, I surrender all again, Lord. You can have my heart. Oh, have my heart. You can have my heart. You can have my heart. Lord, I give you my heart. I give you my soul. I live for you alone. Every breath that I take, every moment I'm away. Lord, have your way in me. Lord, I give you my heart. I give you my soul.
Have your way in this place. Have your way in this church. We thank you for what you've done in this place this morning. And every heart said, amen. Come on, haven't we got lots to celebrate this morning, church? What a morning! Come on, we're going to get out dancing. He's so worthy of all of our praise. Just think about how he's changed your life. Sing, we will dance. We will dance in the joy of love, for you are the victory. Have the precious name of Jesus, every chain is broken free. We will sing, we will shout at the top of our lungs. You have walked us through the night. So now every generation walk by faith and not by sight. Come on! Come on, let's sing that again, even louder. Let's sing it out. We will dance in the joy of love, for you are the victory. Have the precious name of Jesus, every chain is broken free. So we will sing, we will shout at the top of our lungs. You have walked us through the night. So now every generation walk by faith and not by sight. All our praise to you alone. You're the one that never fails. You are the God of endless hope. All our praise to you alone. You're the one that never fails. You are the God of endless hope. Yeah. Thank you, Lord. We're running after you, Jesus. So we will run in the light of your sun. We will walk in all your ways until every heart awakens to the glory of your face. We will go to the ends of the earth to declare that Christ is King, to be light into the darkness, so that every soul will see. All our praise to you alone. You're the one that never fails. You are the God of endless hope. All our praise to you alone. You're the one that never fails. You are the God of endless hope. Yeah. Come on, let's get that clap going. Can you feel the hope rising in the room, church? Can you feel it rising in yourself? Come on. Hope is rising like the sun. You're not finished, you're not done. You keep your promise, everyone. Greater things are yet to come. Hope is rising like the sun. You're not finished, you're not done. You keep your promise, everyone. Greater things are yet. Come on, one more time. Hope is rising like the sun. You're not finished, you're not done. You keep your promise, everyone. Greater things are yet to come. All our praise to you alone. You're the one that never fails. You are the God of endless. All our praise to you alone. You're the one that never fails. You are the God of endless hope. Yeah. 'Cause you are the God of endless hope. We believe in love. You are the God of endless hope. Come on, let's thank him, church.
So great. We love Mark Pomeroy. He always has such incredible wisdom to share, and
Yeah.
we love that we get to have him part of our teaching team. And
So
I
good.
do hope that we get to see him again soon.
Yeah, and let us know what stood out for you this morning in the comments. Why not even send him an encouragement via the encouragement form?
Yeah.
I know he'd absolutely love to hear how it's impacting you.
Yeah, that is a cool idea. And we will see you all next Sunday at 10 a.m. for Church at Home.
Breathe in, breathe out. Stop the endless chase. Surrender all and rest in grace. No need to worry when I can choose to praise. I find my peace when I call out your name. Even to wildest oceans, you have spoken. Here with you in this moment, you're my focus. Jesus, you're the air I breathe. You're the only thing I need. You have given life to me. Jesus, you're the air I breathe. I will breathe you in. You are my oxygen. I will breathe you in. You are my oxygen. I will breathe you in. You are my oxygen. My everything. You are my oxygen. You are my oxygen. God, every day as I inhale your love, I live by faith. 'Cause you are enough in all the noise. Jesus, you make me still. I give my heart to your perfect will. Even to wildest oceans, you have spoken. Here with you in this moment, you're my focus. Jesus, you're the air I breathe. You're the only thing I need. You have given life to me. Jesus, you're the air I breathe. I will breathe you in. You are my oxygen. I will breathe you in. You are my oxygen. I will breathe you in. You are my oxygen. My everything. You are my oxygen. You are my oxygen. Even to wildest oceans, you have spoken. Here with you in this moment, you're my focus. Jesus, you're the air I breathe. You're the only thing I need. You have given life to me. Jesus, you're the air I breathe. I will breathe you in. You are my oxygen. I will breathe you in. You are my oxygen. I will breathe you in. You are my oxygen. My everything. You are my oxygen. You are my oxygen. My everything, you are my oxygen.